Okay, so this is, today I'm going to be talking about compound inequalities. This is the second part of section 2.8 in chapter 2. And this section, we're going to be talking about a different kind of inequality than the first one that we talked about, which is the regular inequalities. So I think the best thing to do is just kind of jump right in. This time I'm going to do some work on the board to kind of show you all the steps that I'm doing and walk through it and have you see kind of how am I actually writing things down and lining things up. So let me share a PowerPoint with you. You should be seeing a PowerPoint right now. I'm going to start from the beginning. And this is section 2.8 called Compound Inequalities. It's taking a moment. My computer's a bit slow. There we go. So you should see right now section 2.8 Compound Inequalities. All right. So here are some important reminders from before. If you're not familiar with them, these are the steps to solving an equation. First thing first, we distribute and combine like terms on each side. We do not put together terms if they're not on the same side yet. So one of the things that students like to do is they like to get a bunch of terms and then kind of jump the gun, skip steps, move stuff around. I have 2x over here and put it over there. I have 5x, put it here. I'm going to do 1. And they do a lot of stuff. So, and that's because they're trying to do the question faster oftentimes because they're sort of, they're sort of sick of it already. Like if you're working a job and you're like, I'm kind of sick of doing this. So you just want to do it real quick. What we need to do is kind of slow down and go step by step. We distribute and combine like terms on each side. Then we do everything else. We don't try to put stuff together from the left side to the right side and move stuff around and do this thing and do a lot of like ninja math magic, a lot of ninja math. We want to do things in an organized manner. All right. Then we want to get all the x's on one side. Then we want to solve a two-step equation. So we're going to walk through that when we do it in a second. And then we'll figure it out. Okay. Now, the main goal of algebra is to get x by its. The main goal of algebra is to get x by itself. And the golden rule of algebra is that whatever we do to one side of the equation, here, we must do the same thing to the other side of the equation, the exact same thing. All right. Now, this is what's called a compound inequality. These are ands rather than ors. Ors are different. So there are different kinds of compound inequalities. I'm doing the simplest kind of compound inequality right now. And that's pretty much all we're going to do, the simplest kind of compound inequality. They're different than regular inequalities because notice that they don't have just two sides. They have 1, 2, 3 sides. It's a 3-sided equation, which is weird, okay? Already, this is getting weird. How do you work a 3-sided equation, right? So if you're already freaking out, let's calm down and chill and let's think about 2 things that we need to get done. It might look more complicated, but we basically have 2 principles that we are going to apply to this problem. And the 2 principles are going to help us and guide us to solve the problem. Because instead of us freaking out and going, how do I do this? We kind of go, okay, what are the 2 things that I need to get done? What are the 2 things that are really important about algebra? What are those 2 basic things? The 2 basic things are the main goal of algebra, to get x by itself. That is what you're trying to do. If you do that, you have succeeded. And the second thing, whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do the exact same thing to the other sides. Notice I put a sides there because there's not just 2 sides, there are 3 sides. So whatever I do to one side, I need to do to the other sides too. So I have a left side, a right side, and a middle side. So now let's think about how we're going to work this out. I'm going to skip past that. Yes. First, let's talk about writing solutions for it. And let's just think about it, and I'm going to come back to it when I work a problem, but we're going to basically think about how a solution would look. All right? The steps for writing a solution are the same as for writing a regular inequality. We graph the solution, we write the solution from start to finish, we pick B and P for each n. So let's look at this solution. -5, n, and 2. So -5 is less than n is less than or equal to 2. Where is n located? So that would be sort of the equivalent of asking, where is Alabama located? Well, Alabama is basically located between two states. So if I had a map, so I'm looking at a map of Alabama here. Make sure I get my United States and stuff map. So United States map. There. Gotta make sure I get my geography correct. Where is Alabama located on the US map? Alabama is located on the US map between Mississippi and Georgia. If we were to ask, where is New Mexico located? Well, you could say it's in the southwest of the United States, but we could also say it's between Texas and Arizona. That's where it's located. So Alabama is located between Mississippi and Georgia, and New Mexico is located in between Texas and Arizona. That's where it's located. So let's look at where n is located. Where is n located in this problem? This n right here. N is located between -5 and 2. That would be the easy way to say it. You know, if you're familiar with Mayhew, Mississippi, Mayhew is located in between Starkville and Columbus. If you're familiar with McAllen, Mississippi, it's located in between Salis and Kosciuszko, right? So if I was to ask you where is n located, the simplest answer would be n is located in between -5 and 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to shade in between -5 and 2. So everything between -5 and 2 will get shaded, like so. All right. Then I'm going to pick open circles and closed circles. So this is going to warrant an open circle. This is going to warrant a closed circle, just like so. Nothing complex yet. Yeah, pretty straightforward. All right, and then we pick brackets and parentheses. So we're gonna graph some solutions in a little bit. But let's go back here now and let's work this problem. And then we're going to talk about, we're gonna work this problem, and then we're gonna talk about what we're doing, and it's all gonna relate back to that most fundamental thing of what are my two basic goals. So, hopefully that's good enough. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'll stop sharing. Hopefully you can read that. So 2x minus 3 is less than 17. It's a little bit blurry probably, but I'll try to do the best I can. Now, let's think about what we want to do. What's the whole goal? Well, the goal is to get x by itself. Let me see if I can get over here to my face. There we go. The goal is to get x by itself. So, how are we going to do that? Well, the first thing we're going to do, and that's glary. Oh. Ooh. Sorry, guys. Two glary bits on the board. Okay, I think that's legible. All right, I've got 5 less than 2x minus 3 less than 17. So I want to get x by itself. So if I had this problem right here, what's the first thing I would do? The first thing I would do is add 3. Right? The opposite of subtracting 3 is adding 3. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Now, whenever I do to one side, I have to do the exact same thing to what? I have to do the exact same thing to, let's see if this helps. Yes. All right. I have to do the exact same thing to every other side. Well, how many sides do I have? I've got 1, 2, 3 sides because I have a left side, a right side, and a middle side. So I have to do the exact same thing to this side, and that side, all 3. What am I doing to those sides? This. I'm adding 3. I have to do the exact same thing. If I do something different, I'm doing it wrong. So I'm going to add 3 to this side, the middle side. I'm going to add it to the, let's say, left side. Let's go from left to right. I'm going to add it to the right side. So step 1, add 3. That gives me 8 is less than, all right, that's gone. Now, am I done? Well, let's check and see. What's the goal? The goal is to get x by itself. Is x by itself? Well, I look here and I say, no, there's a 2 right there. That won't work. Now, I've got 2x is less than 20. So to get rid of that, I'm going to divide by 2. Now, why am I dividing by 2? Well, I'm dividing by 2 because the 2x isn't adding the 2. We're not adding 2 to x. If we're adding 2 to x, it'd be a plus. We're multiplying it, so it's 2 times x, essentially. So I'm dividing it to get rid of the multiplication. So I'm dividing to get rid of the multiplication, but I have a rule in algebra. And that rule is whatever I do to one side, I'm going to do the exact same thing to every other side. How many sides do I have? 1, 2, 3 sides. I've got 3 sides. So I've got to do it to this side and that side. So we do the exact same thing to every other side. Cancels out. All right, 8 divided by 2 is 4, less than x, less than 10. Am I done? Let's try and figure it out. If I was done, so remember, what's the goal? Okay, what's the goal? The goal is to get x by itself. Is x by itself? Is it all by itself in its own section? Well, x is in the middle. There's nothing else in the middle. That's over there. That's over there. X is by itself. All right. So good. Now, let's go ahead and graph that and draw it out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push down a little bit like this, like so, and make kind of a makeshift line here. Nothing fancy, nothing special. We're not talking about fancy painted stuff here. There we go. Look, 4 through 10. We got it. Now, the question we asked before was, where is x? X is between 4 and 10. What numbers are between 4 and 10? Well, all of these, obviously. I mean, yeah. But we need to shade all the way over here so we can get all those little numbers in between. Like, there's these tiny little numbers in between that we need to go ahead and get. Now we need to pick some open circles or closed circles. So we know that open circles because these get open circles. All right, cool. Now we write from beginning to end. So we go 4 to 10, because it starts at 4, ends at 10. And then we need to decide brackets or parentheses. So brackets are going to be for closed circles, and parentheses are going to be for open circles. These are closed, these are open circles, so they both get parentheses. Cool. Now I walked through that really slowly, but again, just to show you that even though it looks really complicated because there are 3 of them, they're not complicated because all we have to do is just remember what we're trying to do. And there are 2 things we're trying to do. Get x by itself and make sure that whatever we do to one side, we do the exact same thing to the other side or sides, depending on how many sides there are. In this case, there are 3. All right. Ooh. That was the first example. Okay, here's another example of writing solutions to compound inequalities. Basically going to the same idea, so I'm not going to go back over that. That's a pretty simple problem. I'm not going to do that one. I'm not going to do that one. Or that one. I'll do that one. And I need to fix that. That's okay. All right. I don't like the way there's something happened with that. Something strange happened with that. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Okay. We're gonna solve this one right here. So I'm gonna go back up to the board and do this one. Yeah. So -10 is less than 2x plus 1 less than or equal to, I believe, it is 6. I'm gonna stop our share. All right. Now I have a new problem. This problem says negative 10 is less than 2 parentheses x plus 1 is less than or equal to 6. So we're gonna solve this problem, and we're not gonna make it complicated. We're just gonna go through our steps. So whenever we have a problem, the first thing we always do is deal with parentheses. We don't do anything else until we deal with parentheses. Let me move this up some, make it easier for myself. Right, deal with parentheses. So before we do anything else to this problem, we're gonna go like that. And we're gonna distribute that. And that will give us 2x plus 2. Notice that we until we distribute it, we didn't do anything else. All right, now, can we combine like terms is the question. So, because that's probably what you're gonna be thinking next. Okay, now we need to combine like terms. All right, what's the rule about combining like terms? The rule is we cannot put things together on different sides. So we can't put that with that, we can't put this with that, we can't put that with this. We have a special way of doing that, and we can't do that right now. So instead, we're just going to solve a two-step equation. I have a two-step equation right here. I'm going to solve it real quick. I'm going to say minus 2 from this side. Minus 2 from that side. Let me put it in black. Minus 2 from that side. That's legible. All right. So I'm going to do minus 2 from that side. If I do it to this side, I have to do it to that side and that side. My calculator will tell me what to do. Negative 12 less than 2x less than or equal to 4. And then I've got one last step to do. And let me write that a little bit better. Sorry about that. There we go. That's better. All right. Then I have one last step to do. And again, I'm just trying to get x by itself. I'm not trying to do anything fancy. We're not trying to be smart here. We're just trying to get x by itself. That's all we're trying to do. So to get x by itself, I divide by 2. But whenever I do to one side, I have to do the same thing to both sides. Now in this case, all 3 sides, because there are 3 sides to the equation, right? We got left, right, in the middle. I get negative 6 less than x less than or equal to 2. Okay. And let me write that a little bit better. I'm getting lazy. There we go. All right. So that's basically our answer. Now let's go ahead and write that. I'll move this over here. And so it doesn't really matter. Let me blah, 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 blah. All right. I skipped a 2, basically. So on and so forth. But I basically skipped to 2. I didn't actually write everything out. So, all right. So we're between negative 6 and positive 2. So I'm going to shade in between negative 6 and positive 2. Then we're going to pick closed circles and open circles. So I have an open circle here. A closed circle right there. And then I'm going to go from left to right, beginning to end, negative 6 to positive 2. And then I'm going to pick brackets and parentheses. With all the steps to do. That's our final answer. So these problems aren't short. They're not particularly They're not simple in the way that just punching something in a calculator is simple. But if you know basically what you're trying to do, which is get x by itself, and whatever you do to one side, do the same thing to the other side, or sides in this case, because we have more than one side. We have 3 sides to this one. You know. It looks complicated. You're going to want to complicate it. You're going to want to complicate it because it looks more complicated because there's 3 sides to things. You don't have to. Get x by itself. Whatever you do to one side, do the same thing to the other sides. All right. Skip that one. I skipped that one. I didn't skip that one. I didn't skip that one. All right. I think that's it, honestly. The other one's just like that one. So if you practice this problem and that problem, you should be okay. Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and summarize everything. Here's the basic summary. They look different. They have 3 sides. That's going to be really confusing to people. Might be confusing to you. Here's the main thing. The same 2 principles hold. We want to get x alone, get x by itself. And whatever we do to one side, we want to do the exact same thing to the other side. All right? That's all we're trying to do. And to graph the solution for a compound inequality, we use 3 steps. The 3 steps are, we graph the solution on a number line. In other words, we shade it in, essentially. When I say graph, I mean shade. We write the solution from start to finish, left to right. It's always left to right. We pick B or P for each end. And I believe that's it. I don't think I have another summary thing here. All right, let me stop my share. Again, compound inequalities are one of those things that students regularly struggle with. They find it difficult to deal with the fact that there are 3 sides. That you don't just have 2 sides to a thing. However, I always say the same thing. It's pretty much just making sure to get that x in the middle by itself. If you get that x in the middle by itself, then you've done your job. You do that, you win. So you just gotta make sure you get that x in the middle by itself. Compounding, these are things that can be really complicated to people. The main thing is to take as much time as you need to learn it. It's not about how much time it takes someone else to learn it. It's about how much time it takes for you to learn it. It might take you 5 minutes. It might take you 5 hours. You have to take as much time as you need to learn it. You can't worry about how long it takes someone else to learn it. Practice, you've heard the phrase, practice makes perfect. Practice doesn't really make perfect. Everyone pretty much kind of knows that, like, we don't do most things perfectly, even stuff we do for a while. But it makes you better. And that's the thing. You're not going to learn math by watching me do a thing on a video. You're not going to learn math by watching a YouTube video. You're going to learn math by doing it, by actually doing the problems. You're not going to learn math by taking a picture of a homework assignment on your phone so that you can get something done, so you can go and get dinner ready, or go to a doctor's appointment, or go do whatever. You're going to learn it by actually doing it. That's how you're going to learn math, is by working the problems yourself and working through all the complicated, nonsensical business of things, and staying on top of it. So my main thing that I would say is practice, 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 and take as much time as you need to learn it yourself. And that's my main thing that I would say. So that is section 2.8. that is compound inequalities. There's also a video for 2-8 linear inequalities. Make sure to take a look at both of those. They're connected to each other. They're both pretty important. And other than that, I know if you put the work in, you can get it done. Math is not impossible. It's completely possible. It's harder for some people, easier for some people, but I know it can be done. All right. I will go ahead and end this session, and I will let you guys get back to what you're doing and have a great day. Cool.